space of the heart. Remember, you're in the center of everything. Time is spherical. It is not linear any longer. So you can experience things that have happened in real time right then. So you're in the tiny space of the heart. You bring your hands up to shoulder width apart. You inhale one time. You're breathing rhythmically, remember, to bring your hands together, but don't let them touch. And then when you exhale, you bring them back to their starting position. You now keep your hands here and you start to recount and recreate the trauma. So before you do the meditation, you would look at your list and you would look at the first one and look at all the details so that it's kind of fresh in your memory, and then you go into meditation. Now for you, you're going to connect to Mother Earth, do everything you need to do to get into the tiny space of the heart, right? And once you're there, so when they come back to starting position, you start to recount the experience. As the emotions, thoughts start to come about or come up within you, sadness, sorrow, frustration, anxiety, whatever those things may be, when you start to feel the emotions, not thinking about it, right? Because you could sit and think about it and not feel any emotion towards it. But once you start feeling the emotions, then you start working in correlation, moving your hands with your breath. What this does, when you bring the hands together, you're bringing back in the energy that you gave off from that traumatic experience. When you exhale and bring them apart, you're dissolving of the energy that you took on. So this energy that exists in your Leonardo sphere, like going back to day one when I talked about the Mustang driving by and the two people holding hands, and in that moment the person remembered, oh, my girlfriend has that kind of car, and starts judging and thinking that she's cheating on him, all these different things, and we fast forwarded 5 years forward, and he had his new baby and his new wife and a different person, and they're driving and a car goes by. Doesn't matter what color Mustang it was, it took them directly back to 5 years earlier, and those emotions, right? So we need to, one, in real time, allow emotions to flow through us. Don't try to suppress them, and don't try to hold on to them. It's a great day. It's beautiful. I'm so happy. Don't try to hold on to happiness. Just allow yourself to experience it for what it is, right? So the exercise of doing this, I personally have not experienced anything that is as powerful as this and works as quickly. I worked with psychotherapists, psychiatrists, Christ, the whole gauntlet of them, right? So, and you just keep going. So you're working on your first big trauma, and maybe, so the emotions come up, and maybe you're doing the exercise for 10 minutes. You keep going until the emotions subside, right? Now, the emotions will subside, but that doesn't mean that you've cleaned that experience or that trauma completely, right? It just means that, think about it. You think about a loved one or something, and you become emotional and you start crying, and then the emotions subside and you go on with your life. What I've come to realize, and again, this is my own experience, my own opinion, is that when you have completely cleaned that trauma, you will instantly be taken back to an image or a memory of an experience that it was connected to, right? Now, with the major traumas in your life, it might not be connected to anything else. It might be the origin of everything, right? So see how it goes with that. For me it was, I'll give you an example. So I had an argument with someone that I had worked with, and I went home that night and I did the cleaning exercise, because there's also other ways to clean in real time when something happens, but we don't obviously have time for that. So I went home that night and I cleaned it, right? And you can clean quickly once you get through all your big traumas. So this argument, and I start cleaning, And about 30 seconds in, it took me back to a memory of about 10 years earlier when I was in Finland and something happened. The argument that I had with this man was connected to this issue 10 years earlier that I needed to clean, right?
You brought up the same emotion, so that's the one you're holding.
Same, so the same emotions, but I knew that I had cleaned completely, because the emotions will come up. Like I said, if it's a big trauma, you'll start your cleaning and all of a sudden the emotions subside and you're just sitting there. It doesn't necessarily mean you've cleaned that whole trauma. You might have to do 10 or 15 or 20 sittings to clean a big trauma. What I found is that when it does get cleaned, it'll take you back to a memory of something else. So for me, it took me back to this memory of this experience that I had 10 years earlier that needed to be cleaned, because this energy that stays inside of us makes us behave and operate in a way that is not in our highest. So, and not only that, it also instantly made me feel unconditional love for the gentleman that I had had an argument with at work, because he had gifted me the opportunity to remember more about myself. And that's the beauty of it, right? When you really, really, really start to tune in with this stuff, you'll look around and you'll see that the people in your life who cause you the most frustration are the ones that you will learn the most from. You should value them more than the ones that you love spending time, not more. Value everyone the same.